I'm going to challenge you right now. And,
Okay.
the Russian thing.
Okay.
We all have a horse in this race because me, you, and the other people engaged, especially those that progressives like yourself and people who love and care about our country, we want to keep it pure. We want to keep the politics and the discussion pure, and we want to make sure that we are not being influenced and have things put out there by a foreign power trying to direct us one way or another, left, right, up, down, front, back. We want to make our decisions for ourselves, and we do not need to be influenced by this. So either this Russian thing is something or it is not. And we all have a horse in this race to make sure that when our horses get to the end, it was nothing. And if it was something, we find those MFers and we get them out. So I just want to say that.
All right. Well, I did ask for people to challenge me. Call me. Hey, thanks for the call, man. I did say last night, I love it when people challenge me. And if I hear you correctly, and I just read your DM while you were talking, you're basically saying that to be agnostic about the Russian situation is not a reasonable position when you consider the implications of if Russia actually did this, then we shouldn't be journalistically agnostic. I can see why you would say that. I don't totally agree in the sense of, from a journalist perspective, whether I should be, because here's a challenge for me, right? As a new media commentator, and sometimes I do journalism. Like, I've broken 2 stories in the last 3 years. That's about quota. So I know how to do journalism. I prefer to do commentary, but in my role as a occasional journalist, I relish the opportunity to be unbiased. Like, when I actually go to do journalism, those 2 times that I did it in the last 2 years, most of the time I'm just a commentator, being honest. But because most of my day is spent being a commentator, I actually enjoy the opportunity to be completely agnostic about something. And in this case, the only reason I disagree with you, I get your sentiment, caller, Ryan. I definitely get your sentiment. But the reason I would push back on you is this. Is that for me, my job is not to try to make it one or the other. It's not my job to try to make it collusion or to make it not collusion. My job is to hear the facts from Congress and the investigative committee, Bob Mueller and all the different committees that are investigating it, hear the facts and report it as it's given. So to not try to convince my audience that it was collusion, to not try to convince my audience that it wasn't collusion, I'm trying to convince my audience only on this issue, because on everything else, I'm completely biased. Only on this issue, I'm trying to convince you that it's important for us to not worry about what it was until we find out what it was. And when we find out what it was, then yeah, let's act accordingly, right? If there's a way to get them out, but that runs short of actual conflict, because I don't think it runs to the level of having a war with them, hot or cold, right? But anything short of that, then I say, let's do it and make sure that it doesn't happen again. But until we find that out, I think it's fair for me to be journalistically agnostic, or to just have some basic journalistic integrity and not try to convince you one way or the other on Russia. And if you look back at my reporting, regurgitating of the facts to you, it's been, we don't know. So let's wait until we find out. And that's the road I try to walk on this. Now, on everything else, I'm trying to convince you and persuade you that this tax plan that Republicans are trying to shove down our throat is 100% pure D garbage. And we need to stop them at every stop. I'm not only just a commentator, I'm like an activist. Pick up your phone, call your senator, call your congressperson, and let them know that we will campaign against them if they support this bill. So it's like I try to find a balance and know who I am when I am on Russia. I can't control the outcome of that. So all I can do is report the outcome to you, so I can have complete journalistic integrity and dissect things and see through the bullshit when I need to see through the bullshit, and report it to you as I see it with my discerning eye. On tax policy, I am not trying to be fair and balanced. I'm trying to be completely biased and let you know that it's 100% trash and we need to stop it. And it's more important for us to talk about that tax policy than the primaries.